Hello friends, welcome back to our channel Mirror Neuron, which means watch and learn. And today we are going to solve the daily coding challenge 2. So I'll briefly repeat the problem statement. So given we have a list of say alphabets or characters, say they are all of course with single quotes. I'm not rewriting all the single quotes there. Okay, so you have say a list of alphabets like this, and so you can see there are six alphabets, and say given a base number 10, what we have to do is we have to repeat this list of characters so that total number of alphabets becomes 10 or characters becomes 10. And how we are going to do this is, say L is a new list and it will end up looking like M I R R O R. So these are the six characters. Now we are going to repeat the same string again until we reach the total count as 10. So we are going to, this is the 7th, 8th, 9th and 10th. So this is the new list. And the second part of the problem statement is we are going to count the first character from the new list. So here we can see that M, which is the first character in this original string, so it appeared twice. So if we had this say 15 times, then we would have continuously repeated it and M would have appeared here, right? And at that point of time, the number of times M repeated in the new list would have been 3. So your function basically should return the first character from the original string from the new list. All right. So how to think of doing this in Python programming? So we have the say original um, list of strings or characters, and then we can find the length of that by passing this, and we can say length underscore s. We can give any variable name, right? So this is where we can get the total. So in this case we know it was 6 and the base number was 10. So basically what we are trying to do here is fill in the remaining 4, right? How did I come to 4? It is 10 minus 6 is equal to 4. So how do we do that? Of course, I did not get the answer right at the very first attempt. I did think of, and this is whenever you see an online video, you might think that the person who is teaching it probably got the answer in the first attempt. That is not true at all, okay? So what I was first thinking of was a complex method, and this will happen to everybody who is new to the programming world. They will start with a very complex method, and then eventually will realize over practice that there are actually simpler method of solving programming problem. So after a couple of attempts, I will share this final solution, of course. What I came to see or found a simple method is, if I divide my base number, so in this case it is n, so I'll just so my base number was n, and if I divide with my length of string, okay, in this case it is 6, so length of string, so basically what I'm going to get is 10 divided by 6, right? And in case of Python, I'm going to take a modulus, so in this case it will give me the quotient, so 6 divided by 10, so quotient is 1. I can store this value somewhere, okay, I'll come to this again. Next, what I can do is I can do again, I will take the n, and this time I'll take the this division, okay, with L upon n s. So this is 10 divide by 6, and in this case it will give me the remainder, okay, so this is 4. So basically it will look like 6 times 1 plus 4, so hence it is 10. Okay, why did I do this? Okay, let me go to the next page, and if I store this division somewhere, say I call it mod underscore times, I got 1, okay, and if I say the extra elements, what is left is equal to 4, right? Now these two numbers very interestingly can help me solve this problem. Let me show you how. Just an additional information, if I have a list of characters like this, list can be of anything. I'll take another example, say apple, right? And say I have orange. So these are two element list, And if I do something like this, 2 times L, and I add a plus here, this means this L is nothing but this list, apple, orange, okay, plus apple and orange, okay. And what it will give me is a new list will basically then have apple, orange, comma, apple, orange. You see, very simple, right? So basically if I multiply the number of times the same list, it will give me that many number of elements. So in our case we have I'll just clear this, okay. So what we had was m is equal to m I r r o r. So in our case we need to create a new list where it will have 10 elements, 6 this one and 4 of this one, right? So what we can do is we can say new list plus equal to, so remember the mod underscore times, which is 1 in our case, because see in our new list we don't have to multiply with higher number, we just need ones, times s. So basically your new list will again contain the same value only, m I r r o r, okay. And the remaining 4 characters, now what I can do is I can again take new list, and with this I can add what I can add. I can take the original string, I can start from 0, go up to extra. So remember extra was 4, so this will be nothing but s 0 to 4. So in Python we know it will go from 0 to 3. So 0 is this, 1 is this, 2 is this, and 3 is this. So in my new list what I will have is all my 6 characters first of all, and then it will add the 4 more characters. Now what if n was 12 instead of 10? So let's go back a little bit. So here in this case mod underscore times, which was this one, so if n was 12, then in this case this would have been 2, right? And this would have been 2, right? Now what about this? This would have been 0, remember? So it would have been 12 percentage of 6, the remainder would have been 0. So this equation holds and this would have become 0. So 6 times 2 would have been 12, right? A very simple mathematics. And here it would have been 2, right? The mod times would have been 2, this extra would have become 0, and if we come here this would have been 2. So basically this simply would have been repeated twice, and because this was 0, so no new element would have been added. Make sense? Great. So this is the very simple logic that we use to create the new string, okay. So this would have been my 2 more characters, right, if n was 12. Okay, now how do I count? This is the first task completed. Now how do I count this? Remember in our daily coding challenge 1 we could have used a dictionary, but because we are using to count only the first character, only a single element, Python provides a very interesting simple data structure, which is I can simply take my new list and use the dot count method, and I can just pass which character do I want to count. So either you can directly hard code it this way, or what we can do, I can save the value of the first alphabet, because in the future the list of strings can be anything. So what I can do is I can just take a variable like this and I can store it this way, okay. This S is the original list, O is the 0th position, so it would return M. So in that case instead of M, what I will do is I'll just pass first underscore char. Okay, and this will count the number of times the first character repeated. Okay, so let's see if I have to write this in Google Colab, then how would it look like? Okay, so I'll just zoom it a little bit so you can see. Sorry. Okay, so I'll just zoom it. Yeah, so you can see I'm writing a I'm so sorry. Okay, so I'm just defining a count string, which is a function. It will take two variables, s being the original list and n being the base number. So you can see the exact same calculation that we just explained has been written here, and I'm just passing the same string here, mirror, and the count is, of course, because it n is equal to 15, so my m repeats 3 times. Okay, you can see the value here. The m is because if it is 15, mirror, and then mi are only 3 characters, so 12 plus 3 15, and m repeats 3 times, and that's why you get the value. I hope this explains how to solve the second part. However, there is a caveat here. There is one particular use case, okay, which you might want to try. So what if n, instead of being a small number like 10 or 15, what if n is equal to is a very large number? Okay, try it out. You will get something called as memory error. Even though sometimes logically your problem is solved for a smaller number, but when you see a big number like this and you're trying to append something to the list, you will face this particular problem, and that we'll cover in the next video, how to handle. So your above solution will definitely work. Sorry, so this problem, this is the technique, logically it will work, but if n is very large, this particular solution will fail. And that is where in many interviews, you probably might think, okay, I did give the logically the answer, but then there are some limitations in the computer itself. Okay, and that's where these are the cases which you need to separately practice. Of course, logically you are right, you've solved the problem, but because there are some intrinsic problem statement which we have to also take into account, and that is why there are several techniques to solve this kind of problem, which I'll cover in the next video. Okay, and I hope you have learned something out of this, and do practice daily coding problem 1 and 2 and try to solve it on your own now that I've also given you the explanation. And trust me, there could be different ways in solving these problems, so don't take think that this is the only way to solve it, but what I was trying to explain is how to think and come up with a solution. Okay, till my next video, I hope you take care, and I'll talk to you soon.